We praised Laudato Si, our common home, which is encyclical published May 21st, 2015. His encyclical, he said, we care for our common home. It is a little bit different from the word environment. Environment is something that surrounded us. So, but home is our, a part of essence. It's like our womb, you see. So there is some difference. Um, Laudato Si means praise be to you, Lord, praise be to you. Maybe according to Saint Francis, to you is not only Lord but also everything in the universe. So even unliving things like rocks and so on. So it's exact praise taking from the chants, the songs, from Francis of Assisi. Uh, as you know well, I understand the member of the Theological Institute for Laity, or Maktabam Avin. It's very familiar with this methodology. See Church Act, very familiar in the documents of Vatican II, especially the Quadam Espes or Join and Hope. So this, taking seriously this methodology, the Pope's encyclical Laudato Si put C part for chapter 1, and the judge part, chapter 2 and 3, and the action part is chapter 4 onward. So half of them indeed it's uh, action part. So and yeah, let's dig a little bit further into this. See, Church Act a little bit further. This one. C part, as you see, the analysis based on political and cultural, social approaches, so that we could, notice, senses, and acknowledge what's happening in this world here and now. So, according to his analysis, Paul pointed out pollution, climate change, water problem, loss of biodiversity, decline in the quality of human life, breakdown society, global inequality, so on, so forth. And based on this, we could judge, what is a valuable things, what is, the opposite. So gospel creation, God saw everything He made, it was good. That's generation. I mean, Genesis chapter 1, verse 31. So basically, Christianity is based on this, positive evaluation on the creation. uh, you know, together with the sabbatical year, Sabbath means taking rest. After 60 years, you have to take rest, give time to the soil, give time to the land, 1 year, one good year. This kind of idea from, all the testaments also. And action part based on the both above two parts, C part and judge part. So what do you do as Christian to protect the ecology and in which we are all live? And in this act part, integral ecology of daily life, dialogue for environment and the policies, ecological education, spirituality, new lifestyle, and so on. So this encyclical Laudato Si divided into three parts uh, through this methodology: See Church, Act. See Church Act. When it comes to Church Act, you know already Cardinal Joseph Cardin, Joseph uh, or Cardin from France. He's the founder of this methodology. You know, when the Pope John 23rd asked him, why don't you, make a note on, you see, your methodology, which is popular uh, at the time. So he exactly did what Pope John 23rd asked him to do. That's he was surprised when he, saw this matter at Magistra, or a mother and a teacher, written by John 23rd. Why? Why he was surprised? Because Pope John 23rd put his idea exactly in a one paragraph as a whole. I read for you. There are three stages. It's written by John 23rd, not Cardinal Cadine. There are three stages which should normally be followed in the reduction of social principle into practice. First, you review the concrete situation. Second, you form judgment on it in the light of the same principle, like based on a gospel, like I said before. So, and thirdly, you should decide what what in the circumstances, what can and should be done to implement these principles. These are the three stages that are usually expressed in the three terms See Church Act. Verse, Article 236 in Mater and Magistra, or Mother and Teachers, by John 23rd. So Joseph Cadine is quite a famous one who founded a Catholic workers movement. I'm not sure in Pakistan you have CWM or GOC, JOC, or International Movement of Catholic Students. I think maybe before you have had it. I'm not sure either, because it's IMCAS. I think it's CWM also had a long history, but IMCS this year, I think it's next year, celebrate the centennial anniversary of foundation. So it's history already 100 years. So maybe before you had, but not clear. Which has based on the dynamics. They have a dynamics on from below. See Church Act exactly what means by the dynamics of from below, not from above. So See Church Act methodology have been reflected officially way from all the way from mother and teacher, and to Participants in Peace and the Earth, 1963, and then Guadalupe Spes, Vatican II, 1965, and Progressive Popularium Progressio, 1967, Development for Peoples, and Medellin Document, 1968, and Justice in the World, 1971, and many documents of Pope Francis much rely on this methodology, See Church Act. So we did already. And Pope said, I would like to enter into dialogue with all people about our common home. Some documents from the popes, including Francis, are mostly directed to Catholics. They address Catholics only, but the similar to encyclical the letter, Parchmentaris, or Peace in the World by Pope John 23rd, Pope Francis wants to address Laudato Si to everyone living on this planet. So this encyclical not restricted to only Catholics, but it's he addressed this encyclical to everyone in the world. That's the difference between this encyclical and the other church documents by popes. Maybe you could recognize in colors because some words in the blue, especially you could see the word environment, life, nature, natural ecology, ecological earth. It has to do with the environment or ecology. So it's quite a few times appeared in the encyclical Laudato Si, rather than church, Christian, spirituality, Catholics, so on and so forth. So it's more frequently appeared than the traditional church terms, like what I said right before. So it's much more focused on the nature and ecology, so on. So we have a tragic effects of environmental degradations on lives of the world's poorest. So to protect the ecology, the young people demand change. So it is young people. So we need a global change, which effects of uh, technological innovations. Global change include effects of technological innovations and unemployment, social exclusion, and inequitable distributions, and so on and so forth. So we need to change this globally, and we see the young people for the champion of protect the ecology. Also, we have a few new ecological sensitivity and a generous spirit found in the young people. So ecological education must be provided to young people. This is what Pope Francis called us to do, and which reflected in 2009 and 2013. So and the one thing he very much focused on here regarding the we protect our planet as our common home. It's human environment and the natural environment deteriorated together because it's it could not be separated from one another. It's one dimension, you know. So, but indeed, we have really no awareness of problem which especially affect the excluded and poor people. So ecological approaches always become more social approaches. That's what the Pope Francis wanted to stress. Once again, ecological approach always becomes a social approach. I, repeats more than a couple of times to go. So, in a word, another word, the cry of the earth is the cry of the poor, which is symbolizing the connectivity between the social problem and the ecological problem. So quite a striking image of here. So now we are about to trigger, pull the trigger against the Mother Earth. It's you can see the hands now holding the gun, now burning. You see, so human civilization is now on fire, which means now is destroying itself because of the wrong way of developing, economical, profit and so on and so forth. So all this, this kind of, buildings, all the, this civilization for nothing, for even destroying, and not only human civilization, but also is destroying about to destroy the mother nature. So she's crying now. So we notice, we observed one of the problem which caused this kind of problem of nature, threatened to nature, is anthropocentrism. In other words, human-centered mindset, attitude, or a human-centered egoism. So anthropocentrism underestimates the importance of interpersonal relations. If the present ecological crisis is one small sign, we cannot presume to heal our relationship with nature and the environment without healing all fundamental human relationships. Because of the anthropocentrism, we cannot heal nature and our human relationships. So, and yeah, put once again here, we have only one crisis, sociological crisis, and at the same time, environmental crisis. It is not a two separate crises. One complex crisis, which is both social and environmental dimensionality. So, which is why we put much stress on integral ecology, according to Pope Francis. Human development, peace, and ecological issues are interdependent relationships. And while peace and ecological issues are included in the integral human development, in the joy of the gospel, Laudato Si combine human development and peace with ecology. I think the joy of the gospel and Laudato Si, both of them mention the integral human development. But integral human development have a two side. It's ecological side and integral human development side. So human development has one coin with the two side: integral human development and also integral ecology, and social dimension and ecological dimension. And a cry of the poor and a cry of the earth. That is one coin with two sides. So everything is closely interconnected. Is the what integral ecology is based on. So we are faced not with the two separate crises, one environmental and other social, but rather with the complex crisis, both social and environmental. We stress already. So it's not, everything is interconnected. Is not only the idea of coming from Pope Francis, like I am because you are, we are because you are. This idea, it's already also found in the wisdom from South Africa, what we call Ubuntu, stressed by Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu from Anglican Church. Not a simple connection, but a life-death relationship. It symbolizes life-death relationship, like a human and rice, maybe in Pakistan, human and wheat, and human and water, and so on and so forth. So the culture of consumerism, which prioritize short-term gain and private interest, we should change this consumerist lifestyle. Of course, many people in Pakistan are not wealthy enough to be fallen into the consumerism. No, it's not a problem of you have or you have not. It's kind of a degree. Maybe we could, somehow invert in this consumerism. Although we have, even if we have a small materials, but still we support the current consumerist culture, consumerist model of the economics. So, which is why Pope Francis have to say we need to change this. So, what is the relationship Laudato Si in evangelization? I think there's a lot, you know, uh, yeah, things involved in between the two. I will explain later, but here I just mentioned Laudato Si takes the Evangelicadium or Joy of the Gospel, another documents of Pope Francis, takes this two one step further, you know, by succeeding, expanding previous encyclical human development. Laudato Si emphasize a new definition of the concept of development is necessary, and that the models of global development must be changed. So we need to change the current model of development. What is then a new model of development? It is not enough to balance in the medium term the protection of nature with the financial gain or the preservation of the environment with progress. It is a matter of redefining our notion of progress. So, but I think he's a very much more critical of current economic system in, Evangelicadium or Joy of the Gospel, rather than this encyclical Laudato Si. But what is in common between, Laudato Si and Evangelicadium, he didn't give any specific model of economic growth or economic system, but he mentioned this much. We should redefine our notion of progress. Yeah, that's the, we need to change this global, world, the global, culture or system, so that we need to have a new model for genuine human development by redefining our notion of progress. Yeah, he mentioned this much, but not give a specific, economic model also. So technological economic development, which does not live in its wake of a better world and an integrally higher quality of life, cannot be considered progress. So here also is what is mean by real, progress. That's his offer is not specific the economic system. So Sean Mcdonough, he's the Colombian priest working with the indigenous people. 1980, I think, long time together with indigenous people in Mindanao, Philippines, long time. And he, one of the authors of, the drafters of Laudato Si, and played their important role as the adversary for this document, Laudato Si. The father Sean said the encyclical letter deals with the political, economic and social and ecological issues, but for him it is more on evangelization, because it is about how Christians should live in the 21st century. So he's missionary, dispatched to the very far island like Mindanao in the Philippines. Many people are poor there. Yes, maybe 13%, not 13, 30% of the population in Mindanao is Muslim. So what is this encyclical? Although it covers many area like economic, social, ecological issues, so on, but for him as a missionary, it is more on evangelization, which means how I live, how I live as Christian in the first 21st century when consumerism, eat up all things, eat up all the valuable things. So for him, it is more important, you know, uh, to find the way in which he, live as a Christian with, some inspirations, ideas, guide of this encyclical Laudato Si. So I think it is important to think over what evangelization means to you at the moment. So evangelization is not only address of gospel to proclaim the gospel to other people, but what is important, like what Father Sean said, more important is evangelization to me is to know how to live as a Christian in the 21st century. That you have to sharpen, you have to be deep, make deepen your heart as Christian in order to live um, what Jesus shows in the gospel. That's the what evangelization means to him. Okay. The same market forces. We need to reject a magical conception of market. Market cannot solve anything. So also science techniques is, of course, we much depend on this science, modern science and technologies, which is very important. But it's not also good enough to serve, our problem. The science techniques will not bring all the solution to our problem we're facing at the moment. So environmental education is important. That's what. Now we come to ecological convergence. Many of them knows what conversion means. It's not convert one religious person to another, religion. No, not this one. No, not this, means. The conversion means total change of your interior, mindset or heart. You see, so the ecological crisis is also a summons to profound interior conversion or internal conversion. Um, in calling to mind the figure of Saint Francis of Assisi, we come to realize a healthy relationship with creation is one dimension of overall personal conversion. We need to experience a conversion or change of our heart. So it's not only a personal or individual conversion, it's also indicate to community conversion, collective conversion, in order to get over the structural sin, structural injustice, and so on. So the personal conversion, its community conversion should go together. So what this conversion calls for? What we mean by the interior conversion here? So he said, it includes the gratitude, some feeling. Yeah, of course, religion is much focused on this, thankfulness, gratefulness, and gratitude for many things, even if small as it is. But the religion always teach this way. Why? because it's kind of a sign of you are converted or not. You are converted to into a deeper level of the change of your heart, then united with God or Christ, then you realize that you found that your gratitude, you feel very much grateful to everything, including very things, minor things you ever found. Ecological spirituality, yes, this kind of gratitude and gratefulness, which is internal impulse to push through, your whole life. Of course, a human has many ups and downs, according to your personality, according to your environment you are in. Anyway, this each creature reflects something of God and has a message to convey to us. I give you a beautiful, uh, the example later on. Here, Ali al-Khawaz is the Muslim poet. Pope Francis bring him here, and they introduce his praise. He said, what is the internal change or internal, interior conversion? Mhm. It's um, his own experience, the need and not to put too much distance between the creatures of the world and the interior experience of God. Meaning, uh, you have to find God or experience God in daily life, which really have close relationship with creatures or everything found in daily life. Like Ali Al Khawas, as to put it like beautifully here, the initiate, the will capture what is being said, or when the wind blows, the trees sway, water flows, flies buzz, doors creak, birds sing, or in the sounds of the strings or flutes, the sigh of the sick, the groans of the afflicted. What is difficult here, more difficult things is the sigh of the sick or the sigh of the poor. You know, it is very difficult to accept this, very difficult to live on this, because if you are the poor, if you are really poor, how can you, find this sigh of the sick, like your mother, like your brother and sister, like your son and daughter who are sick? How can you find this sigh from them? How can you find God in them? This is very difficult. Yeah, I mentioned like this, but for me it's also difficult. How can endure this difficulty among this hardship? How I can negotiate my feeling? Then I cannot ask you to feel this way as a kind of mandatory, because simply we cannot do it without the Holy Spirit, without God's grace. We cannot do our own power. But eventually the think it over. But it's difficult. I admit that this difficult. You found God. You find God in this daily life, especially the moment when you experience difficulties and hardship. It's just sometimes It's for them, for the sick, for the poor, for the marginalized. It's kind of a party of words, party of language. But think about it and then think it over. So 7 years action plan of Laudato Si that we are invited, by Pope Francis to practice, to implement Laudato Si for 7 years to go. First, the families starting 7 year journey toward integral ecology, and the diocese and parishes also could do this, and also schools and universities, college, hospital, and business and farms and religious orders, province is all this, different institution organizations could do it according to their within their means, uh, could do this. I introduce here Amazon Synod. It's kind of a continuation of the Laudato Si, which focus on our common home, protecting this planet. It's part of this project. Pope Francis invite the church, the leaders from 9 countries around the Amazon area to hold this, host this synod on Amazon, which took place 2019, and yeah, we have wonderful documents like instrumentum laboris or working documents, and we have more wonderful documents, the final documents of this Amazonian Synod, Amazon Synod. You can find this, or you can find this final document in English available in Vatican site 2. And what is contents of final documents? Final documents, the Amazon new path for the church and for an integral ecology. Maybe you don't have this slot, slide. I put it, after this morning. So maybe I will leave you this, WhatsApp group for all of you. Anyway, this final document include introduction and chapter 1, the Amazon from listening to integral convergence. We already heard of this from Laudato Si, right? Which is why I put the word continuation or development of Laudato Si or practice of Laudato Si into this. And chapter 2, new path of pastoral conversion. I think it's pastoral conversion mentioned already many times by Pope Francis, and all the way from Guardian, Evangelical Guardian or Joy in the Gospel, and to many other documents, and also chapter 3, new paths of cultural conversion, which is new. So I highlight in red. So it is a very important in which he put interculturality. You see, once again, interculturality is different from inculturation. Think about it. What is meant by interculturality or intercultural encounter, which is same meaning, but is different from inculturation. Inculturation is a Christianity-centered approach, like Vatican II. We have a good mind, like a famous theologian like Karl Rahner, who called those who are very good in mind and are very like a good Samaritan. He called anonymous Christianity, so on. But when a Muslim, he hear this word anonymous Christian, does not feel very good, because they are Muslim, they are Hindu, they are Buddhist. But We are not, we don't need to be called anonymous Christian. We are who we are as a Buddhist or Hindu or Muslim and so on. Then why should I call it that way? This is, response, a possible response from them. So of course, it's all right for Christians to call them in a good way, in a good manner, not negative way or critical manner, but it's more positive, uh, more hospital way of, calling them. But for them, it's more inclusive. I mean, it is a little bit, feel different from, Christian side. So it's cultural conversion, more respect their identity as they are. So intercultural encounter is a two pillar meet in a very equal way. There is no subject, no object. Technically, they are, but there is no inequality when it comes to interculturality or intercultural encounter. So I recommend you to read this whole, if not, you could, read just chapter 3, A New Path of Cultural Convergence. And then come to ecological convergence. We also heard many times from Laudato Si specifically. And then come to the new path of synodal convergence. We have a new one also. Of course, you already know that we have the three different, you see, respective the synod from this year on until 2025 and so on. We have, you see, the the main theme as a synodality, synodality, which means coming together, journeying together, working together. So this is synodal church. How can we build a synodal church without a synodal conversion? Synodal here means more collaborative work. If the bishop, priest, religious, or lay people not working together, there is no synodality available. No synodal church could be built. No synodal conversion possible. That this is, a final document cover. And then we have Corrida Amazonia. It's the beloved Amazonia. It's in English. So Pope Francis, after the 1 year of, since the Amazon Synod, which took place 1 year before, 2019, he published a Apostolic Exhortation. It's kind of a recommendation letter, and which includes, kind of introduction. And this is very, what is different between the two? Pastoral conversion, cultural conversion, synodal conversion, so on. But here, social dream, cultural dream, ecological dream, ecclesial dream, mother of Amazon reason. This is kind of a poetic approach, isn't it? Very much poetic. So being poetic is a very nice sometimes when it comes to uh, people, have variety, very dynamic, various ideas, imaginations, and so on. But it's good. But which has no specific, alternative or suggestions. There is no specific suggestions or recommendations made. So this is quite two different things. Unfortunately, this Querida Amazonia cannot, reflect the result of the final document. So, which is very, one thing I very much miss and very sorry about this, the Apostolic Exhortation. Okay, now two questions for you for group discussion. What is your understanding of integral ecology? Why do you think Pope Francis puts much stress on the one problem, which is the cry of the earth is the cry of the poor? And the second, what is your understanding of ecological convergence? How can you find God in you and all things in daily life, like Ali Al Kawas, who found God in the wind blows, the tree sways, so on and so forth. Yeah, this the two questions for your group discussion. Thank you very much for listening.